Hey guys, another video for the Wheels in Japan playlist. Some people seem to have been interested in the driving on the snow videos that we'd made previously, so we thought you might be interested in this particular adventure. We'd spent a few days up in the Alps driving around various road conditions, a lot of it like this, fairly consistent snowfall, fairly thick snow, different places on the road, fairly slippery in places. We're driving a Prius with snow tyres, so just soft compound snow tyres, and it did pretty well. Occasionally it was a bit slippery, but seemed to stay within the realms of safety reasonably well. So we came down off the mountains, went down to a lower altitude, and we're travelling around, and we went to see this castle. So this area, there'd been some snowfall, but not as much. It was a lower altitude, and not as much snow around, just a little bit lying around the place. And as always in Japan, whenever you head for a castle in Japan, it's usually right at the peak of a hill. Of course, that's usually where they build castles for defensive reasons. So this road here is fairly classic. So you start the valley and start working your way up, and it winds backwards and forwards and gets smaller and smaller. So we've been on lots of these sort of roads, pretty used to them. It's all fairly standard for a castle. And usually right at the end it involves a fair bit of walking. So with this one, we got to this point here, and there's lots of signs warning about how slippery the road was. So it's slippery, it's dangerous, think twice, that sort of thing. But we'd seen a lot of signs like that in the couple of days leading up to this, so we weren't particularly perturbed by it. We thought it might be worth a shot. So rather than walk up that rather extreme hill, we decided we'd have a go at it with the car. So off we went up this track here. So it started off pretty well, but as you can see, there's a reasonable drop off at the side there. That's the roof of a temple that you can see there to the right. So that's reasonable drop, and then it does the usual thing and S-turns all the way up the hill. But fairly narrow. This is actually a wide-angled lens, so you can't actually see exactly how narrow it is, but it's just wide enough for the car basically, and some fairly tight turns here. And we got to this first serious tight turn on the gradient, and it was just ice. The temperature was below zero, and it was just ice, and the front wheel drive car started to slip backwards and slip sideways, and then it stopped. So then we're in a precarious position because the back end of the car is now facing over the edge of that drop. So if we slide any more backwards, the back wheels are going to go over that drop. So it was a matter of trying to edge the car around that corner. Now we've got a very narrow road behind us that we can't turn around on, so we wanted to try and give it another couple of goes, thinking that it might be possible to change the line to go around a little bit of a different angle there and try and miss the particularly heavy bit of ice and get onto a thinner bit. But of course it's a really narrow road, so not a lot of options here. But we thought we'd give it a bit of a run up and have another go at it. And that was less successful than the first. Disturbing thing about the whole thing there was that gradient is really severe. So when you start slipping on it, you start to slip sideways, which is towards the drop. You can see the drop there's on our left hand side. So we don't really want to go in that direction. Yeah, just not happening. Just was not happening. It was just so icy. It was just it had become sunny, but it was still below zero, and it just turned into a couple of inches of really serious ice right there. So it was game over. So only one way out was the same way that we'd come in reverse. Yeah. So it's the limit of the snow tyres, of course. That's why people have chains too, I guess. Chains are a pain in the neck, but chains in that circumstance probably would have made the difference. It probably would have worked, but no option for people on snow tyres but to reverse back down this road. Which wasn't fun. So those of you who live in countries where you don't get snow, the last time we made a driving in the snow videos, lots of people hadn't seen that before, so those of you who aren't used to these sort of conditions might have found that reasonably interesting. Reversed all the way back out, and then went and parked the car, and then climbed on foot to the top of the same hill. Now you'll see a video about that castle at some stage in the near future too. Quite a nice little castle it was, right up there on the peak. So yeah, there was the limit of the snow tyres. Snow tyres good in snow, no good on ice. That's been proven for the 1,000,000th time now. There we go. Just a quick silly thing. More videos coming soon.